Hello and welcome, my friends and viewers, to something a little new that we're going to be trying here on Legendlore. A week or so ago, I asked you guys what sort of popular character or creature you guys would like to see me turn into a D&D 5th edition monster stat block, and between all the votes, the winner was Pikachu, the electric Pokemon from the show and card game of the same name. On this inaugural episode of Wildshape, I will be converting Pikachu's canon abilities and powers to the mechanics of D&D 5th edition, as well as developing in-game lore explanations for this creature's existence, along with ways that you guys can plant them in your world for your players to encounter. Now disclaimer, this isn't a breakdown to Pikachu as a character, nor will any of these videos be for future characters, unless I really like them. I will be operating under the assumption that you guys all know what these characters are from their respective media. This is simply to allow everyone to fill out their bestiaries with more cool monsters and creatures based on these characters. With that said, let's begin. Pikachu's abilities, as with most Pokemon, change depending on which game they're featured in and what region is being explored in said game. But the most frequent things I've seen across all Pokemon games I've researched is the following abilities. First, there's the classic Quick Attack, Iron Tail, and of course, Thunderbolt. But then there's also some lesser known ones, at least to myself, that being Thunder Wave and Pikachu's Lightning Rod passive ability. Quick Attack is an attack consisting of a sudden headbutt to the enemy, sometimes able to be done twice if Pikachu is quick enough. Iron Tail sees Pikachu's tail glow and be able to strike with an increased bludgeoning power. Then there's the classic Thunderbolt, where Pikachu fires a bolt of electricity at their enemy. The lesser-known ability of Thunder Wave allows Pikachu to paralyze an enemy, leaving it open to further attacks. And then there's the Lightning Rod passive ability, which causes any electric-based attack to automatically target Pikachu. These 5 abilities are going to form the basis for our monster, as well as a couple of other additions that are already found within D&D 5th edition. Now, for obvious copyright reasons, I can't call this monster Pikachu, so instead we're going to use the name of the Stormaus. But I may refer to it by flip-flopping between the two over the course of this video. That and calling a creature Pikachu will take your players right out of the game. The Stormaus is a small elemental of the electric subtype that has an AC of 15 and 60 HP, though it can be as low as 20 or as high as 108 within the range of its 12d8 plus 12 hit die. Stormouses are naturally fast, so I gave him a movement speed of 50 feet, and his following stats are a strength of 14, a dex of 18, a constitution of 12, an intelligence of 8, a wisdom of 12, and a charisma of 17. Because as we all know, Pikachus are goddamn cute. They're proficient in dexterity and wisdom saving throws, due to the high speed and sheer willpower that they possess in the show to overcome all their challenges. Additionally, they have dark vision up to 60 feet, can understand the languages of Common and Primordial, and are immune to lightning damage and resistant to thunder damage. Moving on to their actual abilities, Pikachus/Stormouses, as electric types, quote-unquote, have advantage on all attacks made against creatures who are airborne, wet, wearing some form of metal, or are of the water elemental subtype. That last part is open to interpretation for you depending on what fits in your world, but creatures that fit this criteria will also have disadvantage on saving throws caused by the Stormouse's abilities. If they're grappled or hit by an attack made with an unarmed strike or a natural attack such as claws and teeth, Pikachu/the Stormouse deals an automatic 2d6 lightning damage that has no save against it. This will be particularly useful against unarmed fighters, monks or paladins, or pets such as ranger and druid companions, as well as those summon creatures that druids like to conjure that clog up initiative. So be sure not to forget about this bit of damage output, as it stacks with every single attack that's made against the Pikachu. Next is the Lightning Rod ability, a powerful passive that's useful against classes or creatures that deal lightning damage, such as Storm Herald Barbarians, Storm Sorcerers, or wizards with an affection for spamming Lightning Bolt. If a spell that deals lightning damage is cast within 60 feet of the Stormouse, the creature casting the spell must make a d20 roll. If it rolls on a 10 or lower, the spell automatically targets the Stormouse, who instead suffers no damage from the spell, and any damage that they would have suffered is instead added to the next damage roll of the Stormouse's next successful attack. If you want to increase the difficulty of this creature, you can cause this ability to be automatic rather than being left up to a roll. But most players are smart enough not to cast lightning on a mouse literally made of electricity, but I have been wrong in my assumptions of my player's intent before. And lastly, due to its natural speed, this creature has access to the Nimble Escape ability. This will give it a little bit of additional maneuverability in combat and allow it to close the distance with spellcasters who don't benefit much from attacks of opportunity. Now we get to move on to our actions. First off, Pikachu/Stormouses have multi-attack, making either 2 attacks with its Quick Attack or just 1 attack with its Iron Tail or Thunder Shock attacks, and you'll see why in a moment. Their Quick Attack is simple with a range of 10 feet, symbolizing the quick shift to and from their current space, dealing 1d8 plus 4 damage for an average of 8 damage per hit, or 16 per hit if you use it with multi-attack. Now for Thundershock, this attack has a range of 30 feet and deals 4d8 lightning damage on a successful hit, also forcing the target to make a DC 13 Constitution save or be paralyzed for 1d4 rounds. This target can make a new save every round at the start of their turn to end the effect. Normally 5th edition has effects like these last 1 minute or 1 round, but I bought back rolling for the duration from games like 3.5 and Pathfinder. If you do find it tiresome to keep track of, then just use the regular 1 minute or 1 round depending on whatever suits you. Now for Iron Tail, this attack lacks the range of Quick Attack or Thundershock, but a successful hit deals 2d10 plus 4 damage and forces the target to make a DC 13 strength save or be knocked prone and fall back 10 feet. Also, if the target is wearing armor or a shield, it is damaged, which consecutively lowers its AC bonus by 1 per Iron Tail hit, lasting up until the players get their armor or shield repaired. This attack is also considered magical for the purposes of overcoming damage resistance. It should be clear that Iron Tail is for the fighters, barbarians, and paladins that stick and wail on your monsters for tons of damage, or for those tank builds that have high armor class. Crumpling the fighter's breastplate and sending them flying into a ditch or off a cliff is a hell of a way to show your Pikachu means business. So definitely make this attack not just for your action, but for the attacks of opportunity as well. That way, if a player is knocked down, they have to spend their movement to stand back up and think of a new plan, as they are now unable to reach their original destination. Now for our heavy-hitting, battle-defining abilities. We have Thunderbolt and Thunderwave, which I'll say right now doesn't work like the Thunderwave spell that's already in 5th edition. It is very different. Thunderbolt, which can be used by this creature twice per short rest, allows the Pikachu/Stormaus to cast the spell Lightning Bolt with a spell save DC of 13, dealing 8d6 lightning damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. This ability cannot be targeted by counterspell, as it is considered a natural ability and not a spell when cast in this way. The good thing about Lightning Bolt is that it's very simple. You line your enemies up, or target those that are trying to stay at range and pepper you with spells, and zap them right out of the sky. It's that easy. And lastly, we have Thunderwave, which is a bonus action that can only be performed twice per short rest. The Stormaus may target a creature within 30 feet of them that they can see, striking them with the jolt of concentrated electricity. The creature must make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed for 1d4 rounds, making a new save every round at the beginning of their turn to end the effect. However, if they succeed the first saving throw, their speed is instead halved for 1d4 rounds, and they avoid the paralysis. With this existing as a bonus action, this helps the Stormaus get access to its full range in the action economy, allowing it to mitigate how many creatures are able to approach it in one round, while also setting them up to be hurt by another of the Pikachu's abilities. And even if they succeed, their speed is still halved, which means that they still may have to re-strategize with that new debuff. Definitely use this on casters or ranged fighters to take out your player's artillery, before striking them with an auto-crit Iron Tail, 2 auto-crit quick attacks, or a Thunderbolt. I know that sounds mean, but the power creep in 5e can definitely get a little bit crazy, so you have my permission to not feel bad about using things in this way. Now with mechanics out of the way, let's talk a little bit about lore. Everybody knows Pikachu, so let's give its Stormaus persona some explanation as to its own existence within the world of D&D, where it likes to hold up, and how you guys can have your players interact with it. The Stormaus is a small elemental that primarily exists in the elemental plane of air, being made completely of electricity save for some patches on its body that are made of this dark, translucent material, which biologically is very similar to the glass that's formed when lightning strikes the sand on beachheads, and is usually concentrated around the Stormaus's tail, back, stripes on their cheeks, and at the ends of their ears, giving them sort of a prong-like makeup. While it looks like glass, it is not nearly as fragile, being as hard as diamond and capable of conducting great bursts of electricity, which the Stormaus will use to attack if frightened or aggravated. If that fails, their heads and tails still serve as powerful bludgeoning weapons, capable of crumpling breastplate and even solid stone. In terms of environment and sociology, Stormouses, or Stormice as I like to say it, are usually found in plains or mountains if not in their own home elemental plane, often seen chasing storms or following creatures such as air elementals, Behirs, and blue dragons due to their applicable climate. As such, it isn't uncommon to see a Behir or blue dragon covered in some of these elementals crawling on its sleeping body. Sometimes a Stormaus might be captured and used as either power sources for electric devices or as living lightning rods due to their innate attraction of all forms of electricity. Definitely look to use this for your steampunk or technologically advanced settings. For some adventure hooks, your party can be called upon by a local lord to ward off a pack of Stormice who have taken residence inside of a hill, causing a permanent thunderstorm to sit over the village, causing overwatering of crops, flooding, and other storm-based occurrences. On the flip side, you can have a party discover a group of bandits capturing Stormice for their horns and their tails, which make excellent magical components when harvested. There's really no better way to light a fire under your players faster than putting a Pikachu in danger of poachers. So definitely use this if you really want your players to get to love them immediately. When using a Stormaus or Stormice against your party, make sure to take advantage of its mobility, using Nimble Escape to avoid opportunity attacks and double your speed to close the distance between them and your players. Iron Tail's knockback allows you to place around pits or cliffs or other environmental hazards for your Stormaus to knock people into, as well as whittle down the armor of your party over time, making attacks easier to hit as the fight goes on. Also, make sure to utilize Thunderwave to paralyze characters and set them up for a harsher blow using the Stormaus's other abilities. Remember, a paralyzed creature is incapacitated and can't move or speak, automatically failing all strength and dexterity saving throws, and all attack rolls made against them have advantage and are automatically considered a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of the paralyzed creature. Stacking your quick attacks, Iron Tail, or Thunder Shock right after a successful Thunder Wave can quickly burn through a character's HP. So be sure to use that combo sparingly and on different characters so one PC isn't just Nova'd in the first round of combat. Unless you have a Totem Warrior Barbarian who has resistance to all forms of damage except Psychic, in which case go ham. Overall, the Pikachu/Stormaus is built to be an extremely nimble, high damage dealer at both close and long ranges, capable of paralyzing people to make them more susceptible to attacks by both them and their allies. I usually advise deploying them solo or in groups up to maybe 3 maximum, as the damage output and saves against paralysis does risk throwing your players into a death spiral if there are too many. And of course, this thing being based off Pokemon, you can absolutely have a Stormaus be accompanied by a Ranger of some sort, bringing the power of friendship firmly and sickly sweet into your D&D game. And with that, guys, that was our first episode of Wildshape, everybody, featuring my take on Pikachu within D&D 5th edition, the Stormaus. If you guys like this kind of content, please let me know, and I will absolutely try to make more of it. The art for Pikachu as well as his stat block is all located in the description below for you guys to use in your games. And also let me know if you guys do decide to use these things, if there's anything that you would like to change or what you guys think of the design. Also, if you guys want to be updated on future videos, please press the little bell icon on the corner. And also don't forget to vote on the next video following the link in the description, please. But until next time, I'll see you guys later, and happy gaming.